Hi, do you live in a climate that gets a lot of sleet, freezing rain, snow, and blizzards? If you do, then I hope this video is going to help you. We just got our first little bit of snow here in Massachusetts a couple of days ago, and it got me thinking that I wanted to get my car kit together so that I'm prepared for any situation that may come. I've lived in Massachusetts my entire life, and we've gotten a lot of blizzards here. And I have been stuck in my car for long periods of time. So now I make sure that I keep items in my car that are going to help me if the situation occurs again. This is not for an SHTF situation. This is for those everyday occurrences that could happen. You could be driving on the highway and say someone gets into a terrible accident and you're stuck behind them and you're sitting in that traffic for, it could be hours at a time. Or you could find yourself in a situation where your car is stuck and you just need a little bit of help to get those tires to spin or to get you out of that scenario. So I wanted to share with you the 21 items that I keep in my car at all times for the winter and hope that maybe it'll give you some ideas or some tips of things that you might want to keep in your car for you and your family. So let's get started. The first thing that I keep in my car is one of these jump boxes. These things are so great. You can basically charge them up in the house and then you can keep them in your car for if your battery dies because of the cold weather. So now you don't have to wait for AAA to come and rescue you or for some stranger on the side of the road that you don't know to stop and offer to jump your car. You can do it yourself. It comes with all of the tools that you need to jump the car yourself. It also comes with this attachment that allows you to put air into your tires if your tire pressure is low. Something that goes along with the jump box is just a set of jumper cables. If you don't want to get the jump box or if you're not sure of how to use it and don't want to learn how to use it, just make sure that you have a simple pair of jumper cables in your car. Maybe if it's during the day and you're in a place where you feel safe allowing someone to help you jumpstart your car, you can at least provide your own jumper cables. The jumper cables are also a good alternative to have in case your jump box isn't charged at the time. The second item I have is a good quality snow brush. Now I bought this last year on clearance at the end of the season, so that's always a way to get things for a little bit cheaper. You want to have a good quality snow brush because it's important to clean off your car fully after you've gotten a storm. You don't want to be driving down the road and everything from the top of your car comes crashing in front of you and it could cause you to get into an accident, or you don't want all of the snow from the top of your car to hit someone else's windshield and cause them to get into an accident. So I would say a good quality brush that you can reach all of the places in your car is important to have. The next item that I keep in my car is this foldable shovel. This will make it easy to get out of situations where your tires are spinning, maybe in a bit of slush, and you just have to dig out around your tires a little bit, and it doesn't take up too much room. So I really like keeping this in the car. And something that kind of goes with that is this de-icer. I like to keep de-icer in the car, so if you have to just sprinkle a little bit around your tires, you already have it in your car. Another option, if you don't want to go with this, is something like kitty litter, where you can just put it into, say, a Tupperware container or an old coffee can, and then you'll just leave that in your car and you can use that the same way that you would use this. Number 5 would be a good quality first aid bag. You never know what kind of situation you're going to be in, so having a good quality first aid bag with all of the essential items that you might need is a great thing to keep in your car for the winter. Number 6 is a heated blanket, or just an old comforter or an old thick blanket that you don't want to use anymore in the house. You can put it into your car, and that way if you are stranded and you don't want to use your heat as much, you have something to keep you a little bit warm. This one plugs right into the lighter outlet and it just heats up to keep you a little bit warmer. Item number 7 is some de-icer made for the winter time. You want to keep some of this in the car because I can't think of a worse situation to be in than driving in a blizzard or a really bad storm and you go to use your windshield washers and you don't have any fluid in them. So if that ever happens, you can just pull over to a parking lot, dump this stuff in, and you're good to go. But you want to keep it on hand. Another small item that I like to keep in there is these lock de-icer. These are great for if your locks freeze up in the winter. You can just throw this in there and get into your car easier. Next up is some extra gloves and hats. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these. I usually just get them from the Dollar Tree or Ocean State, Walmart, anywhere that's pretty cheap, just so I have a few extras in the car in case, say I'm in the car with my kids or friends or family. I have a few extra things that they could also use. I always, just in case you have to get out of the car and it's cold, everyone has something a little extra to put on in case they weren't wearing anything that day. To go along with that is an extra pair of thick warm socks. These are heat thermal socks, and my thinking with these is if I have to get out of the car and do something and my shoes and socks end up getting wet, I want to have something dry that I can change into to keep my feet warm. You could also throw in, if you have them, an extra pair of snow boots or an old pair of sneakers that you might have. Having anything dry is going to be better than not having anything at all. I always like to keep an extra flashlight and headlamp in the car. The only thing is the batteries probably shouldn't be left in the cold weather all the time. Whatever I need for batteries for the flashlight and the headlamp, I try to keep a few extra batteries, say, in my pocketbook. That way, if these are no longer good when I need it, I can always pull them out of my pocketbook and I'll have light. With the headlamp, it's nice to use because if you're doing something outside of your car where you need both hands, you can just throw on the headlamp and your hands are free to do the work. Next is a few of these black contractor bags. These are great. They have so many uses. You can kind of rip a hole in them and put them over your clothes, so that way if you're out and it's storming, when you take it off, you're still nice and dry. Same thing with these emergency blankets. Just throw a couple in your box. These have so many uses. You can use them to not only stay warm, but they can reflect the sunlight into the car if you put them on the windshield. If something happened to a window where maybe it was broken, I could use either the bag or these emergency blankets and seal up that window so I'm able to keep some of the heat inside the car. Which goes along with the next item of duct tape. There's really nothing that this can't fix for a short-term situation, so I always have a roll of duct tape in my car. All right, next up is some of these body warmers. They have all different kinds. I like to get all of them. I get the body warmers, the hand warmers, and the toe warmers. If you've had to go outside and do anything in the cold weather, you know how fast you can start freezing. You can just grab a set of these, throw them inside of your gloves. You can throw them inside of your clothes, put some in your shoes, and it'll really just keep everyone a little bit warmer. These really do provide a lot of warmth. They last several hours. I like to keep them not only in my winter kit, but I keep them in my glove box, in my middle console, a few scattered in the back. That way they're available to everyone if they want them. The next thing that I keep in my car is a set of flares. If it's a cloudy, overcast day and I'm stalled somewhere, I want to make sure that I have something to make me visible to other drivers so I'm not putting myself or my family at risk. These can also help if you're waiting for, say, AAA or a family member or the police if you've gotten into an accident, maybe an easier way for them to see you if it's in the middle of a blizzard. All right, these three things are also, I think, very important. One is a windshield de-icer. So if you use this windshield de-icer and spray it on your windshield, it makes less work when you're scraping it all off. The next thing is flat tire fixer. You can spray this and it'll at least get you home safely until you're able to go and get your tire repaired. And then this is just a little can that I keep in there for if there is a fire, I have something that I can use quickly to put the fire out. Another item that I like to keep in the car at all times is water. The problem with keeping it in the car in winter, obviously, is that it can freeze, but I like this because it's insulated and there's less risk of it freezing. I also keep this usually inside the car. I don't keep this in the kit itself because I'm typically driving every day and the heat's on, so it doesn't always have a chance to freeze. But my thinking is if I'm in a situation where I am stuck for hours, at least I'll have some water. I can keep it in the car with me. The heat will thaw it. I can put it by the heater if I had to, and I would at least have something to drink. Now, I started out with cleaning and sanitizing the inside of this container, and then I put clean filtered water into it. So I don't change it all the time. What I do is I just change this every couple of weeks, but realistically, you probably wouldn't have to change it that often if you're using clean filtered water in a clean container. This would certainly work in an emergency situation. The other thing that I do is I'll keep plastic water bottles in the car. Those do freeze easier, but again, if I'm in a situation where maybe I'm able to keep the heat on for a couple hours, I could always put a couple of those next to the heater or wrap them in a blanket and thaw them, and at least we all have something to drink. This item here I think is really important to keep in the car. This tool allows you to break your windshield or cut yourself out of the seatbelt if you ever needed to. I definitely think it's important to keep one of these in the car. Another crucial item that I keep in the car is an extra phone charger. I just keep it in there. I don't worry about bringing it back into the house. And it's also a rapid charger. For me personally, if I was in a situation where I was stuck in traffic for hours or stranded on the side of the road or stuck in a blizzard, I would hate to notice that my phone was almost dead and I didn't have a way to charge it to contact someone to come and help me. So always keep a phone charger in the car. Lastly are just a few food items that you could keep in the car. I don't know if you've ever been stuck in the car with hungry, tired children. It's definitely not fun. So I always like to keep a few extra snacks in the car. That way I'm able to keep the kids a little calmer, give them something to eat, something to snack on, something to keep their mind off of the situation that we're in. A few of the things that I like to keep in the car are just quick snacks. Something that I don't have to worry about too much. They have a little bit of a longer expiration date. The kids can just open this up and eat it dry. It's a good tasty snack. Some other ideas are dried fruit. These are something that you can keep in the car. You don't have to worry about the temperature because it's cold anyways. So some dried fruit is a good option. Nuts are a good option. Because it's winter, it is cold, so you wouldn't want to keep some of these things in the car during the summer months, but during the winter it's okay. They're going to last longer. The one thing I would say is to check the expiration dates. You want to find something that's maybe 6 to 12 months out before putting it in your car for storage. So all of these items are good until at least next summer. I would just say that if you're going to use these snacks on a regular basis for your kids to eat or for you to eat, that you try to remind yourself to restock them more often. That way, if something were to happen in an emergency situation, you wouldn't find that all of your snacks were gone. Another quick and easy snack idea is some crackers and peanut butter or any kind of nut butter that you like. I like these because they're individually packaged. We can just take out a roll, split them up, and at least everyone will have a little something to eat. Same thing with the peanut butter. They're an individual cup. It's just an easier way for me to pass them out to everyone. Some more ideas would be something like a trail mix or little energy bars, a can of nuts. These are all individually packaged as well, so it just makes it a little bit easier to store and also to give out to everyone I need to in the car. You could keep them in a container like this, or you could break them up into individual containers, or you could use, say, like a mason jar, save an old spaghetti sauce jar. I've got both plastic peat bottles and glass jars. Any of these would work well. My only suggestion would be that you're not just letting the glass jars stay loose in the trunk or loose in the box, because the higher chance that they could break. I would say if you're going to use glass, just try to think ahead. Some things that I've done in the past are I always have socks that lose their pair somehow. I don't know where they go, but they disappear. So I'll just take the glass jar, and you could either cut the bottom off or just keep it as is, and it just gives it a little bit more protection against hitting other things in the car and then possibly breaking. Pretzels are another good option. Those will last a long time. You can just leave them in the car. Again, you can break them up and put them into maybe individual plastic bags, or you could just buy the individual little bags of pretzels. That would work too. And then of course, candy and chocolate. I always think it's a nice treat to have a little bit of chocolate, especially if everyone's stressed out and worried about what's going on. The treat of just being able to have a little bit of extra candy or chocolate or something sweet would help in my family. It would make everyone feel just a little bit better while we're waiting. Something new I'm going to try this year is this applesauce pouches. I'm not sure how they're going to hold up through the winter, but I am going to put a couple in there and just see what happens when they start to freeze and if they thaw out quickly or do they burst. My plan is to just put a couple of these in their own little bag in the car and just kind of see how they handle the freezing weather, because I think that these would be a nice little treat to have as well. So I really hope that you were able to get something out of this video. These are the things that I like to keep in my car to keep me and my family safe in the event of an emergency where maybe we're stranded in the car for a couple of hours. This is something that gives me peace of mind, knowing that we'll be safe, warm, and as comfortable as possible during those times. I just wanted to give you some ideas of things to think about for you and your family. There are so many different options that you can choose, and you want to find whatever works best for you. These items can definitely be scaled up or down. I was able to find many of them for very affordable prices by either waiting for the end of the year clearance or just shopping at stores that have cheaper prices like Walmart. There's also a lot of good deals on Amazon, so you never know where you're going to find the deals, but look around a little bit, try to find the most affordable prices. You don't want something like this to cost a lot of money, you just want it to have for peace of mind. One last thing that I would say that I do is I always try to make sure that I have at least a half a tank of gas in the car. I always try to do 3/4 of a tank full, but at least a half a tank of gas. Just like the situation where your phone battery is almost dead, you do not want to be stuck in a situation where you're going to be stranded in traffic and your car is almost out of gas, because then what's going to happen when you run out of gas? You're not going to be able to run your heat. You're going to be stuck even longer in that situation. That could put you and your family at an even higher risk of something worse happening. I hope that you got something out of this video. If you did, please like and comment. I would love to hear what you keep in your car for the winter months to keep you and your family safe. Thanks for watching.